Hi, Hollywood Progressive Team. Dick, Sharon, and Linnea reporting on a play we saw this weekend, a very well-known play, Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, which is playing at Pasadena's A Noise Within through March 17th. Written in 1979, this venerable musical features lyrics by Stephen Sondheim and a book by Hugh Wheeler. It has run several times on Broadway for extended runs, received 8 Tony Awards, and toured repeatedly all around the country over the years. The current production has received a slew of glowing reviews, including one by our colleague Ed Rampell that currently runs on the Hollywood Progressive. For my money, A Noise Within is just a remarkable place to see any kind of play with its protruding stage, and we've seen a half a dozen plays there. It's the wonderful, most comfortable, most professional. We typically favor going to the smaller places with tighter budgets and 90 seats or 80 seats
90.
or 50 seats up to 99, but some of them are quite a bit smaller. This one's quite a bit bigger, and yet not like the real big ones downtown Mark Taper Theater. I love the set design. It was a wonderful experience to go to this play. What did you
So
think?
the quality of the lighting is excellent. The sound is excellent. They do a great job in every single performance, whether or not you enjoy the play. It's very professional. It's a delightful place to be, just even in the lobby. It's a nice environment in which to see a play. So Sweeney Todd. So I remember when Sweeney Todd came out in Broadway in 1979. Although by that time I was already living in Los Angeles, I spent a considerable amount of time in New York City because that's where I'm from. And it hadn't been long since I'd moved to Southern California. So I used to go back to New York quite frequently, several times a year to visit family. And I remember the constant commercials for Sweeney Todd. And to tell you the truth, I didn't want to see it. That back in 1979. I didn't want to see it. It was just not my cup of tea. It's a story that is a fictional story that takes place in 19th century London. It's a story that first appeared, and I'm looking over here at my notes, in the Penny Dreadful series. Now, Penny Dreadful is a term that I only became familiar with, I'd say probably in like the past 2 years or so. Penny Dreadful is a series that's on either Netflix or Prime Video. And it turns out that Penny Dreadful actually is a real serial that took place back in the 19th century. And it started when executions, hangings, beheadings was a form of entertainment. And groups of people, they would create these broadsides, like these comics. They were called the Penny Dreadful series, and they were comic strips. I'm gonna read you what I was just looking up. It's pretty awful. Penny Dreadfuls were cheap, popular serial literature that was produced during the 19th century in the United Kingdom. And it was then, and maybe to some degree now, a pejorative term that's roughly interchangeable with penny horrible, penny awful, and penny blood. So I can see why Sweeney Todd would have been one of these storylines that was included in Penny Blood, Penny Awful, Penny Horrible, because it's a story really about a serial murderer. So anyway, I will let Nia pick up where I'm leaving off.
So yeah, very light and cheery play, fun for the whole family. No, the story of Sweeney Todd is pretty macabre. I first heard of this Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street from the movie adaptation directed by Tim Burton, starring starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. And then I fell in love with the story, and I worked my way backwards from there, and I learned about its long history and its Broadway success, its numerous awards. So I was really excited to go and get to see this. I really enjoyed, as both my dad and stepmom said, this theater is it's just a joy to go to. It's very welcoming from the moment you walk in, very comfortable. They're so creative with their stage. I think we've seen half a dozen plays or something there, and that stage transforms itself each and every time. It's just a treat. Their design team, their crew, the actors that they take on, wonderful team, wonderful chemistry. They really put their all into everything that they do. The lighting, as Sharon said, for this was wonderful. I sadly was a little let down with the production of this play, especially after reading we get our media packet, the what's it called, media packet,
That's good.
yeah, the media packet, and that goes a little bit more in depth with the director and if there's a playwright, this, that, and the other. And for me, the goals that that the creative director and the choreographer and the musical director set out to achieve with this telling of Sweeney Todd, unfortunately, weren't met. This was a very excuse me. They tried to so Sweeney Todd is in itself a story of classism in 19th century Victorian England, with very much the upper class abusing, corrupted, and making life miserable and hell for the lower class or classes. That is something that we see today, and that is something that the director and the choreographer and musical director wanted to point out in this telling. I don't think that came across. This came across as a standard telling of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Something I found interesting was that they wanted this to be felt as a statement coming, instead of it being the narrated version of Sweeney Todd's life. They wanted it to be sort of as if it were being told from the perspective of the homeless population struggling with being homeless, mental health crisis, addiction, all of these things, retelling almost as if it's a warning to whoever is listening of what could happen and the potential side effects of the upper class looking down on and taking advantage of the lower class or classes. That's something that in 2024, unfortunately, is visceral. I think everyone can feel that, and it was a very powerful intention that I sadly think was missed. And there were some other different choices that were made that just sort of took you out of the story, unfortunately, took you out of the experience of the play. But overall, in terms of the actors gave a fantastic performance. Again, at Noise Within, the effort that goes in from everyone involved is at 120%. You could feel it all the way through to the back, even if you were sitting all the way in the back farthest seats. So still a great experience, at least to experience the effort put in by everyone involved. I was captivated when I was reading the media packet. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. I was captivated by the point that the director and creative director and musical director were all trying to relay, in the sense that we have this growing population of unhoused people, some simply unhoused, some also struggling with mental health, others struggling with drug addiction and various combinations of those things and other things, and how that may play out. I don't think we'll get to the point of having a demon barber ruthlessly serial killing the higher class. I don't think that's where we're headed, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe I could be wrong.
So I would say that probably a good portion of the audience that was there the other night had to drive past someone who was unhoused. I know we certainly had to. And so I think that I agree with you. It was really a missed opportunity to take contemporary issues of exploitation of those who live among the lower rungs in this, the greatest, richest society in Los Angeles County, where we have 70,000 unhoused people on any given night. It was a missed opportunity to be able to translate that traditional story of Sweeney Todd in 19th century London to what's happening right here in Los Angeles. But on the other hand, I will say that Stephen Sondheim's music, particularly Pretty Women and I think Nothing's Going to Harm You, those two, and then the chorus was really fantastic. There was some very strong voices, beautiful voices in the chorus. And this is really a musical. There's hardly a spoken word in this play, just from beginning to end. Just about all of the lines are sung. So it's almost like a little mini opera.
Yeah, so pick up on a couple points. I'm not really a musical guy. I haven't been drawn to them in the course of my life, and I've only seen a few. But among the three of us, I'm the one that scouts out the plays that we'll go see, and I scouted out this one, and I was excited about it. I was dimly aware of Sweeney Todd, the play, the musical over the years. I kind of knew what the story was, and then the press release and some of the other reviews that I went through stressed how this was supposed to be related to modern day plight of the homeless and income inequality but I think unless I had read that, it would have been hard to pick that up from the performance. As both of my compatriots say, the singing performances were beautiful. They were melodramatic, operatic. I mean, really in the movement and the stage. But as Nia said after we left, I mean, it was hard to make an emotional connection to anybody on stage, and really to necessarily decipher the intent, sometimes the intent with connecting this to income inequality. Yes, indeed, the Demon Barber was beheading the wealthy classes as demon barbers would do. It's hard to say, you know, if you're a real musical buff, it's a thing to go to. If you like the small civil rights dramas that we like, it's kind of a maybe.
Yeah. So
Further thoughts?
I think that's about it.
Okay, so we have another play, I believe, this coming Sunday or the Sunday after that. We love doing this. We would love to hear any feedback, and you can drop in comments on the website. Tell us what we could do better, what you like about what we do. Don't tell us what you don't like.
And those of you that are watching this on YouTube, please share it. That helps us with the algorithm. Take care.
Thank you for sticking around. If you like the LA Progressive content and the discussions we have here, please consider clicking the subscribe button below and also give us a thumbs up. That helps to grow our audience by feeding the algorithm, which helps to get this content in front of more eyes. Thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate your support.